Sorry, guys. All right, good morning, 603.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Canella.
Good morning, Flavia. Love the energy, Flavia. Thank you for greeting me in such a high energetic Tuesday. And Kalani, he's laughing. Anyways, those that arrived early got to see some awesome things with Selena. Maybe next time, those that came a little after can maybe come a little early and they can see. Anyways, today it is Tuesday, November 10th of 2020. And today we're going to talk about, in our quick morning huddle, about why we have to follow rules in society. So who would like to contribute and tell me for the next 5 minutes why we have to follow rules in society? Go ahead, Noel. And then we'll have Joel go.
We have to follow.
You have to follow.
Go ahead, Noel.
No. Well.
If you're having an internet connection, feel free to type your response in the chat, okay? So the question is, why do we have to follow rules in society? Somebody in the school can answer because I know you got good reception in there. Okay, Joelle, maybe Claudia. Oh. Noel, you know what? Do me a favor because it's hard to hear. I want to hear your thoughts. Can you type it in the chat for me? Okay, because I know it's a little hard to hear you. I want to hear what you have to say. Joelle, as Noel types, and the rest of you can type if you don't want to share out. Joelle, why is it important to follow rules in society?
It's important to follow rules in society because if you don't, then there'll be consequences. Like if you're outside and you steal something without paying for it, then you'll go to jail for robbery. Or if you get into like a fight and then you'll go like to a holding cell until
Okay.
you up. And there's many other reasons, but those are some of the main two: robbery and fighting.
Okay. So let's make that connection, right? The society has rules that we have to follow so that we can stay out of trouble.
You can stay safe.
What do you say to yourself when you were struggling with something?
Calm down.
How?
Like,
It doesn't have to just be you. Anyone can answer. It's important to follow rules in society because, yep, okay. So like, let's go on the flip side of that, right? So we know that in life in general, or like in school, for example, sometimes things are hard for us. So when something is challenging for you, good, I like what I'm seeing. So if something is challenging for you, what do you say to yourself to rise from the challenge? So I'm going to write this down. What do you say to yourself when something is challenging or hard? I'm going to write the question. Or hard. How do you overcome it? Feel free to type your response in the chat. I can do it. I like that, Branson. Yup. Okay. Kareem, we're awake, I hope. Good. We're answering in the chat, sir, that I can believe in myself. What do you do when something is challenging for you? This is today's little debate. And feel free to unmute yourself and talk if you would. Oh, think of happy thoughts. I like that. At least I can try. That's right. At least I can try. I say to myself, take a breath. Yup. Try my best. Yup. I believe myself. I believe I can do it. Okay, let's see what else is coming through. I'm just going to kind of take attendance real quick and write who's on time and who's not. Let's see. What else do we say, guys? Anybody else want to send in a response? I try to overcome it. How do you try to overcome it? Azalea? Or whoever. How do you try to overcome something that's difficult for you? Let's see what you wrote. I try to tell myself to calm down and work through it. I try to overcome it by telling myself that I can do it. Okay. Do you get mad at yourself if you can't accomplish it? If you don't want to have, you can have an open discussion, you know. You don't have to be muted. I don't want to be the only one talking. Selena, come over here, Selena. Yes, sometimes. And when you get mad at yourself, what do you say to yourself if you can't accomplish something that's very challenging or frustrating to you? What do you say? Let me see if the work is posted now. Looks like I'm gonna have to go do something. It depends on what it is. Okay, well, can you give us an example on what you mean by that? When you say it depends on what it is, what are you referring to? Somebody tell me. Let's see.
I think what he's trying to say is basically like it depends what the problem is, what the situation is, because you don't really know what the situation is. Like, let's say if you're having a test, you're always going to have like positivity in your mind. And let's say if it's outside, in the street, you're going to like let's say the people are trying to fight you, you're just going to have negativity in your mind as well, because you're basically getting forced to fight and you're basically not following your head. Like they're trying to pull you away from positive thoughts to negative thoughts.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it depends on the situation.
Yeah,
Keep
I
going,
agree.
Flavia. I like that.
And like it's kind of like in this train station as well, because you're going to feel some type of way if, let's say, a stranger talks to you, because let's say if your parents tells you not to talk to strangers, at least you're going to feel like a type of way when somebody tells you something in the subway. So you're basically going to feel like scary thoughts because you don't really know what's going to happen to you.
You know, I
Like there could be scary thoughts, positive thoughts, negative thoughts, um, shy thoughts, and all that.
thank you for your contribution this
Can I
morning.
add on to Flavia?
Sure, absolutely.
So what I think what Flavia was trying to say, like in the streets and I think she was trying to like talk more about peer pressure and how people like peer pressure you to do something. How she was saying how like people are gonna make you fight even though your head doesn't want you to fight, but you want to fight because they're telling you to. It's basically getting peer pressure by somebody else.
I like that. Anyone else have any other thoughts? If you're just coming in, I need a camera on, or you're going to be put in the waiting room. Anyone else want to add on? So Angie, you're not responding, so it looks like waiting room. I don't know. I'm giving you 10 more seconds. Anyone else want to add on? Because we had a really nice discussion going on. I don't see a chat, so unfortunately.
And it's kind of like the same situation in school. Because let's say if you're having a bad day, and then basically a teacher is trying to like tell you what's going on, but you don't feel like saying it, and then you're basically coming out from your skin kind of, because you feel like you could speak to the teacher about your day, because the teacher's really trying to help you, so you're coming out of your skin to tell them and yourself like feel relieved.
Awesome. All right. Anyone else have any other last minute contributions before we move on? Anybody else? Feel free to either unmute yourself and speak or type it in the chat. Angie, I need to see your camera. And if your camera does not go on, you're going to be in the waiting room for the remainder of the class. You have 5 seconds to please turn your camera on. Everyone else in here right now has their camera on, and I need to see your face. 5, 4, 3. No, I don't know what way is. No. You need to come in with your camera on. Those are the school policies. So when you have the camera on and your last name, you'll be allowed to enter. Until then, I have to put you in the waiting room, security reasons. Did she write something back? I don't know what that means, so I have to put you in the waiting room. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Anyone else have any last minute contributions or thoughts that they would like to contribute? All right. Just a reminder, tomorrow, guys, it's Veterans Day. So tomorrow there will be, hello, Mr. Blough, good morning. So thank you for those that contributed. I really, really appreciate you. We had a great discussion this morning about what we do when we feel frustrated, what we do when we feel something is hard for us, and ways to overcome that. So Flavia, thank you. Noelle, thank you. Joelle, thank you. And for those that participated. So let me tell you what's going to happen today. We have Mr. Blough in here, your principal, guys. So if you want to wave and say hi to him. Oh, your uncle was in the Marines. Awesome. All right. Cool. Got to have a lot of discipline for that, right? And there's a lot of struggles and challenges, and things may become difficult for us. All right, let's admit Tyrone. And we are going to get this. I don't know who Keemer Hooper is, so I'm sorry I can't admit that person. Oh, your dad was in the Navy. How awesome is that? All right, so today, guys, we're going to be working on the unit rate. I know that Mr. R was having some issues with the internet, so he should be coming in shortly. So, unit rate, okay? We're going to deal with that again. Yesterday, you guys were fabulous with the work. The rigor was up there. You guys did awesome. You blew my mind. So let's get this show on the road. And we are going to have, before I present my screen, here's how it's going to go. I'm going to have Flavia read the learning target. Noelle, you're going to read the vocabulary words. Joelle, you're going to read the 4 steps. Ardelin, you're going to do problem 1. Yeah? While we have that happen, I need you guys to type your responses in the chat. That's how you will earn credit for today. Even though you're not the one reading or doing the problem, engagement's important. I want to see the class engaged. Okay, so type your responses in the chat. You know, the unit rate is blank because. Got it? Everyone with me? Okay, let's go. Let's get the show on the road. All right. I have a lot of energy this morning. I'm well rested. So here we go. Remember your order because I won't remember. Because, you know, when we get engaged, we get engaged. So let's do this. My lovely 603. Engagement. I need you typing in the chat about math and only math, please. Thanks. About unit rate. Here we go. We're going to review again. All right. The standard is 6.RP.2. It's all about unit rate and ratios. My learning target reader, please take it away.
I can properly set up a unit rate that is associated with the ratio. I can calculate the unit rate in a fraction form.
Good. Are you instructed to read the vocabulary words as well?
Sure. Important vocabulary words. Ratio compares 2 quantities. Example 6 to 9, 7 to 8, or 1 to 5. Is related rate is an equivalent ratio that compares the first quantity in a ratio to only one of the second quantity. Unit rate. Part of the rate that is being compared to one ratios. Rates and unit rates are all comparisons. They compare one quantity to another quantity.
Okay, remember quantities are items that we're comparing. So as you saw yesterday, we're going to be comparing 2 items in word problems that relate to the real world and to be able to figure out the unit rate. And there's somebody in here, Justin Hudson, was telling me when we were speaking about some math work that he went to go to BJ's or Costco's with his mom. And it was explained to me that he was actually giving his mom a lesson on that unit rate sticker. When you go to the grocery store, you have this sticker and it tells you how much something is, right, per unit. So he was making that connection. Hey, Mr. R, so happy you joined with your internet and stuff.
I apologize.
Right. No problem.
Did you give them the speech about yesterday or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're good. We're set to go.
We're We're
All
actually,
right, guys. So we're doing a review today, and it's kind of similar to what we did yesterday. Drink my Starbucks, right? So we want you to get focused. I honestly think that finding the unit rate. So I'm gonna just repeat this, and I believe you left off at steps on finding unit rate.
yes, we had a student read. I assigned a student up to problem 1.
Did we send parent messages home for Parent Square?
Not yet.
All right, I'll take care of most of that. All right, so finding unit rate. Identify what is your total number and what is your number of items. Divide the total by the number. Your answer is the unit rate. So in this case, in this scenario, what they did was they used the number of items on the outside and put the total in the inside, and they started dividing. They got that Martha paid 75 cents per what? Can. Now you guys want to use that as a complete sentence, because if we was to give you an open-ended question where you actually have to type it out, guys, you would have to write it just like that, right? So Martha paid 0.75 per can, or it could be whatever the product is. It could be candy. It could be I don't know. Give me another one, Miss Canella. What else can it be?
It could be a tuna fish, vegetables.
Yeah, it could be a lot of things, right, guys? So
I'm just
I
gonna,
would, if I was writing my notes, I would, where it says number of items in total, and then I would write it out just like that and give myself an example that way later on, when we tackle these problems, we'll be able to do them together.
so what he's saying, guys, is there's 2 red boxes. We have the same notes as yesterday to write it down just because I don't know who Keemer Hope is, so I can't omit that person. I can't take a chance, Mr. R.
I got you. I understand.
All right. So remember 4 steps. Remember the item number goes on the outside of your divisor. The total is the dividend. That goes on the inside. The larger number goes on the inside as the total, the dividend. The smaller number is your divisor outside the house. And then when you use, as Mr. R said, the DMSB, drink my Starbucks, because you know I like Starbucks, divide, multiply, subtract, bring down method, you will physically arrive at 75 cents if you do it by hand or use your calculator. And that 75 cents is going to represent how much she paid per can, each can, every can, 1 can. Per each, every 1 unit rate. So I'm going to write that down, give you guys about, Mr. R, what, like 2 minutes?
30 seconds. No, that's not allowed to write. That's 30 seconds. Right
Okay,
there.
unit rate words. I want them to add
Plus,
this
it's the same thing that we did yesterday, right?
per each, yeah. So we're going to add a per each and
The timer is activated on my phone, guys. 30 seconds. Go.
remember, please
I don't
write
see that pencil moving, sir. I mean, you have a notebook? I'm supposing that that's key, right? We need a notebook. We need to rewrite these things, right?
all
I
right.
believe that person that's trying to come in is Flavia. She left. Miss Canella.
Keemer Hope?
Yeah.
No, that person's, it is?
Well, Flavia's not here. She left. So.
Flavia was in the school under her.
All right. So that's time, guys. All right, let's go straight to the check for understanding. Joel Lucas, you're up. It says write the correct letter on the line that corresponds to the vocabulary. Now this is straight to the first page, right? Number 1, ratio. The number that is in the, so the number in a rate is compared to 1. Is it an equivalent ratio that compares the first
It's C.
quantity?
A way to compare 2 quantities.
Awesome.
Good. What about number 2 on the wall?
It will have to be B.
Oh, okay.
Can you read it?
An equivalent ratio that compares the first a ratio to the only one of the second quantity. And then a unit rate will be A.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Can you read that one for me?
The number is in a rate that is compared to 1.
Bingo, bango, bungo. Yep, perfect.
Guys, sorry, Selena was barking and I didn't want her to disturb us.
It's okay.
So I went on mute. Okay, you don't have to write this down because you had it already written from Monday and today. So we're going to move on to the next part. I called someone to do number 1. If you remember who you are, I want you to read the problem and you're going to walk us through what you remember from yesterday. And anytime you get stuck, please type the responses in the chat, guys, to help her out. All right, Ardelyn, take it away. All you. We're just here to guide you.
A group of cyclists bike 35 miles in 2.5 hours. What is the group speed in miles per hour? Hence, find the unit rate and complete the 3 steps below. Step 1, what are the 2 units being compared? The miles and the hours.
Okay. Keep going. I'm catching up. Go ahead.
What are numbers that being divided? 35 and 2.5.
Okay. Keep going. I'm catching up.
What will you be dividing? Show the steps, so we're gonna be dividing it.
Dividing what? How's that look?
Guys, if you know it, please write it in the chat to get credit. Thank you.
What's the outside? What's the inside? How do we set this up?
34, 35. Can you hear me?
Yes. So what's the outside? What's the inside? What's the dividend? And what's the divisor number?
I would like everybody to try to
35.
solve in the chat. She said 35.
35 where?
Out.
Inside or outside?
Huh?
Where does the 35 go? Does the 35 go here in this pink circle, or does the 35 go in the red circle?
In the red circle?
Okay. And what number goes on the outside then?
2.5.
Okay. Now, this is dividing decimals. So tell us what you would do. How do you solve it from here, young lady?
I'm gonna move the decimal 1 time.
To where? One time, right, left, what? Up, down, what?
To the right.
Okay. So now it becomes 25. And what happens to 35?
And put it. It's the same.
So let's do a quick little review here. If we have 80, guys, where's the decimal point in a whole number?
Anyone.
80 point, right? To the right of the ones place. Therefore, 35 is a whole number, Ardelin. So where's the decimal point?
To the end of the number.
Right, which number? The 3 or the 5?
5.
So I put the decimal point, and how many times do I have to move it? If I move the divisor 1 to the right, I move the dividend 1 to the
Right. Left. Yeah, right.
right. What I do to the outside, I do to the inside. Then I'm just going to bring this up and do it here. Now you can do the division. Take it away using the DMSB method.
25 can go into 3. So 25 can go into 35 1 time.
Good.
Okay, keep going. All you, none of us.
So 0, 1.
Get Ardelin.
Then we have to add another 0 because 25 can go into 10.
Okay.
And then it could go in 3 or 4 times.
So is it 3 or 4? Count by 25 to help you out.
It can make 4.
Right, 20, because there's how many quarters in a dollar?
4.
Right, okay, that's how you remember that, guys. You see that? Because she was sure, but then she was like, let me double check. All right, so what does this 14 represent, Ardelin? What does this answer represent now? If you go back to the question, what did you have to find?
The miles per hour.
So what do I write?
It is 14 point.
Oh, you kind of already put it, right? You just said 14.
14.0, 14.000 is all equivalent, guys, right? So remember, when you're dividing, you have to know that the items go on the outside and the total goes on the inside, okay? Just like we did over here on the example. Okay, so the next student to do problem number 2, Mr. R, who would you like to do this one? We'll let them do it. Let them go through it.
Mr. Camas, you ready? Stephen Camas?
All right, Stephen, you're going to read the problem and you're going to try to solve by finding the unit rate. We laid it out for you. Just got to tell us what to do.
Says, you want me to read it or you got it?
Stephen, I think Stephen can read it.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. The table shows the cost of 4 sizes of Fruit Loop cereal. Which size has the greatest unit price?
So what do you do? Talk to Mr. R, myself, and your classmates, and your principal, Mr. Blough.
Wait.
So what are we learning today?
The unit rate
Great. How do you find the unit rate?
by dividing.
Okay, so now take that and apply that to the chart. Tell us what you do.
We have to divide each one of them.
Okay, so be more specific. Which one are we doing first?
We're doing the 16 divided by $2.56.
Are you sure about the 16 divided by $2.50? Think about it. Remember, we take the total and we divide it by the number of items. So how would you fix that?
Oh, we do $2.56 divided by 16.
Good. What is that unit rate?
I don't see nobody saying it in the chat, guys.
Yeah, guys, come on. Please type your answers. Only Noel and Tyrone answered so far in here.
Yeah, I'm writing the names down as they go, so.
So Stephen, $2.56 divided by 16. And anyone else on here, type your answer in the chat. We got 2 students that wrote a response, 3 students.
Jennifer.
4 up, another.
Is 0.16?
Good.
0.16, which is the same as 16 cents. What's the unit rate of the 36 ounces if it costs $5.40, sir? Right in front of you.
0.15?
If you guys are getting these answers, then you clearly are doing the correct unit rate, right? So 5.40, he says divided by 36 is 0.15, which is 15 cents, because money is to the hundreds place, right? Next one, what's the unit rate for 64 ounces if it costs $8.96?
We already got people writing it in the chat.
0.14, 14 cents.
Keep going, do the next one.
Next one is 13 cents, 0.13.
Okay, so now read 2A and tell us what the answer is and why you picked it. Justify your reasoning.
The size that has the greatest unit price is the 0.16.
Perfect.
Which is how many ounces?
16.
Okay, why? Can you justify and explain why that's the correct answer?
Because when you divide it, it gets like a bigger number. It gets a unit rate.
Good. Right? Because the unit rate for 16 ounces is going to be 16 cents. Right? All right, who's going to do 2B, Mr. R?
Which size has the smallest unit? I would like. Did Azelia go yet?
Nope.
Azelia, you ready? Ms. Rodriguez? All right, let's do it. So it says, which size has the lowest unit price?
So tell us your answer and justify your reasoning, like you do in ELA. What's the evidence? Go.
The lowest unit price is 0.13 because it is lower than all of the units there.
Okay, which is how many ounces?
96.
I loved your answer, and I liked how you guys used the word unit rate. Do you guys see what we did there? Because you're going to have a problem like this on your independent work in a moment. Anyone have any questions on how to find unit rate? Quick check for understanding. Joelle Lucas, how do we find the unit rate? What operation do we use?
Division.
Division. Anyone
Trick
have
question. What goes inside?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
The total goes inside and the item goes outside.
Yeah.
All right.
Positive
All right.
points for you, bud.
I think you're ready. I think you're ready.
Miss Canela, can you explain it again because suddenly I had tech issues.
You know what,
Oh, okay.
Flavia? When we go into the breakout room, I will help you, okay? Yeah. All we're doing, Flavia, is we're just dividing the total by the number of items to get the unit rate. So we take the total divided by the number of ounces, which is the number of items, to get this missing number here that is erased now. That's all we're doing, like yesterday. All right, number
Miss
3.
Wong spent, I would like Branton Clark to try to tackle this one. Mr. Clark, you ready? Branton, you ready? All right. It says Miss Wong spent $21 on 3.5 pounds of steak. What is the cost per pound of steak? So think about this. We're thinking about the pounds, right? We're trying to find out how much 1 pound equals, technically speaking. That being said, what 2 units are we comparing?
We're comparing 21 and 3.5.
Okay.
So steak and what?
Steak.
Before you, yeah, steak and what? And how much it what?
How much it weighs?
How much it cost? So unit
cost.
pounds, right? Think about that, the price. What's step 2? Step 2, you have to identify what are you dividing. What 2 numbers are you dividing?
We're dividing 3.5 divided by 21.
Well, the way the question is written, you're right, but the way the question is written, you have to write it like that. Step 3 now. Now you can answer it the way you want. So what goes inside and what goes outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what numbers go inside?
Remember, the total goes on the inside.
So
What's the total amount of money that Miss Wong spends on 3?
Huh?
I think I heard him say 21.
His connection is unstable though. You hear that, right?
Yeah, I think he said 20.
Branson, I'll give you credit for to get taking us that far. Okay, I don't hear you that much, so I'm gonna choose on somebody else. Go ahead, Miss Canelo. Choose somebody.
I wanted Jennifer Diaz. Can you take over the rest of this problem?
Thank you, Branson. You got credit for that, by the way, but don't worry about it.
Please type your answers in the chat, guys. Jennifer Diaz, what do we do?
So first we put 21 inside because it's the cost, and outside we put the steak, which is 3.5.
Okay, finish. All you. What do we do now?
You have to divide.
Okay.
Before we divide, there's something that you have to do with that decimal point, right? What do we have to do?
You have to move it.
Good. Which
To
way?
the
Right or left?
Left. To
She
the
said
what?
right. She said right.
So then what does she do to 21?
What do we have to do with 21?
We also have to move it to the right.
Good. Good. Now that being said, does 35 go into 21?
No.
Okay, does 35 go into 210? And if so, how many times?
Yes.
How many times?
6 times.
And what does that equal?
210.
Good. We subtract that now. Does 35 go into 0?
No.
No. So we found out that it equals what?
$6
For what?
per steak. Per pound of steak.
There we go. That's what we were looking for, right?
Good job, Jennifer.
Mr. I just wanted to write one more thing when they do that, right? So she said it was $6 per pound of steak, right?
Now I will be honest, and this is just me being honest with you guys. I would get totally confused with this problem because if you think about it, right, it says 006. Now that's not converted to $6. So how did Jennifer? How would you get 6? That's my question.
I will get 6 because I had to divide.
Yeah, so look at the decimal point. Well, Miss Canella kind of did it for you. She kind of moved it over as soon as it went up, right? So when you move it over, it actually becomes 6 first, meaning the other two digits are actually corresponding to that. So instead of it being in the hundreds, it's actually in dollars. Do you guys see that? Yes? So Miss Canella, it would probably be helpful if you could write like the place values after that. You know what I mean? Like that's a dollar amount and then that's the hundreds and then double. You know what I mean?
Oh, so like the tenths and the hundreds? Is that what you want me
Yeah. Yeah. Just like label it, just strictly because I think that some people get confused with problems like this. Because when we move in decimals, guys, it does get confusing. I'm not gonna lie, but you guys got to be ready for that because that they could throw anything at you, right? And it could be in the store, really. Like 0.6 is equivalent to I don't know, ramen soup, the unit rate of a box, right? They could do that to you, and sometimes people want to know how much is one. So yeah,
Well, they also have to understand too, right, Mr. Going off of what you said, that money, guys, deals with the hundreds. It's always 2 places after the decimal. We've got to know money is based out of 100.
that was
Right?
it though, right? That was 3 problems, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we have one more to do.
Are we doing it?
It's
Is it?
9:26. We have, yeah,
Yeah, we got time. We got
we have
time. Yeah, go ahead.
one more. So let's see if we can have a student do this one without us. What do you want to call in? I was thinking,
I don't know. So Coney is like hidden over there, so I want to kind of.
yeah.
Yeah, so Coney, Mr. Smith. Oh my God, you remind me of the Matrix after I said that. Sorry. Let's go. Tackle this problem.
So Connie, please read it.
Okay.
Tell us the 3 steps and how you get there. Go.
All right. Recipe calls for 2 ounces of teriyaki sauce and 4 ounces of soy sauce, which shows the unit rate of ounces of teriyaki sauce to 1 ounce of soy sauce.
Okay, so step 1. What do we do?
And if you need a visual, I highly suggest you look at here. Look at the model problem. What does step 1 say?
What are the 2 unit rates being compared?
Okay. So answer your question.
Soy sauce and teriyaki sauce.
Teriyaki and
Tyrone, you didn't warn me you were leaving, sir. That camera should be on.
all right. So go ahead, continue on.
It's not working.
So
Then
rejoin.
So Coney, step number 2 is what?
find out what you're dividing by.
Okay, so what is that?
Soy sauce, you're going to divide 4 by 2. So it's going to be soy sauce divided by the teke sauce.
Teriyaki sauce, yep.
So he's saying that we divide what, Mr. R?
He said you divide by 2. That's what I heard. So Coney, can you say that again?
You're going to divide 4 by 2. 4 by 2.
4 by 2. 4 by 2. But wait, how is the question asking it? Remember, step 2, you write it exactly how the problem is asking, right? So it says what? 2
so
ounces,
2 divided by 4.
There you go. And now you're going to think about the total and then the ounces, right? So think about this now. What number goes inside and what number goes outside?
2 is going to go inside and 4 is going to go outside.
So it's going to be 2 into 4, Sakoni, if I heard you right?
Mm-hmm.
So like this, 2, like this?
Yes, Joe, go. Thank you for letting me know.
So go ahead.
So 2 can go into 4 twice.
2 times 3 equals what?
Then you do 4. Take away 4 is 0. You have nothing left.
So I was also thinking another way too. I was thinking 2 ounces for teriyaki over 4 ounces for soy, right? Equal, and you're going to learn about this. I don't know the teriyaki, but I know that the soy has to be 1. So technically, how do I
That's
get
15 or 1? I'm sorry.
1? Sorry. How do I get from 4 to 1? I divide, right? By 4, right? Because I think there was a misconception here. So this would be equal to 1. And if I divide 2 divided by 4, I'm going to actually get a decimal of 0.5, which is the same as 1/2. So technically, your reasoning wasn't wrong. It was just that the way that it was kind of set up, we have to go a different avenue, right? So 2 divided by 4 is the same as 1/2, which is same as 50 cents. So technically, it's 1/2 of the teriyaki sauce per 1 ounce of soy sauce. Does that make
Which you
sense?
could do, which Soconi, you see what Miss Canola did is the exact same thing as simplifying, right?
So you're
You
not,
look at
right?
you.
You have to
Yeah.
figure out you have to figure out how much teriyaki sauce you need. If you know that it's 2 for every 4, if you think of a table, 2 for 4, right, is equal to, if this is the teriyaki and this is the S for soy sauce, and we have 1 soy sauce here, we don't know how much teriyaki we need. We know 4 divided by 4 gives me 1. So whatever I do to the denominator, I do to the numerator. So 2/4 ideally is the same as 1/2. So 1/2 ounce of soy sauce is needed for 1 ounce of 1 ounce of teriyaki sauce is needed for 1 ounce of soy sauce. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So just want to quickly do a quick check for understanding. So Daniel,
All right, I know that you're gonna get a breakout room, but before we do that, guys, you need to hold up your notes. Hold them up, hold them up, hold them up. It's time to see your notes.
cameras. Let's see who took notes today. And even if you
Guys know
came
that
late,
that's what we do, right?
even if you
Danny,
came
where's
late,
your notes?
Flavia, Gigi,
Guys, your notes. Going
come
once,
on.
going twice.
Kyrene, I'm taking a picture. This is how you get
Branson, no notes today? No notes today? Gigi,
I
what's
can't
up?
turn on my camera because it's not working.
the camera's not working. Listen, Mr. Blough is on the call right now, and the school expectations, from what I understand, is that cameras need to be on. There was emails that he sent out on Parent Square. We've made many reminders that if your camera's not working, you got to go to school to get it fixed. And from my understanding,
Branson.
you cannot be in the class. That's how it works. Correct, Mr. Blough? Yeah, so Mr. Blough, should we remove him and put him in the waiting room?
I don't hear you, Blough.
Mr. Blough?
Has it not been working for a while?
I mean, it was just on and then it just went blank.
Yeah.
So,
If you're able to, turn it on.
No, I can't turn it on.
Okay. He can stay in for right now, but Tyrone, I'll send you an email, okay?
Tyrone Green, Mr. Blough.
all right, guys. So right now, thank you for letting me know that you took notes today. That's awesome. The people that didn't take notes, if I'm correct, I wrote your names down, is Gigi, Daniel, and Branson. Kareem. Am I right about that, Miss Canola? Or, oh
Yeah,
no,
that's true.
Kareem did take. Okay, I apologize, Kareem. I apologize.
Don't know if Tyrone did.
Relax.
We don't know if Tyrone did. We couldn't see Mr. R.
So, Tyrone, if you have a phone, please email me your notes. Just take a quick picture and just email it to me. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to make sure you wrote something today. Branson, no notes, right? Okay, I don't know what's going on. Right now, I'm gonna open up your independent practice and exit ticket, and then if you have time, guys, at the end you can do your iReady. Remember that we're giving incentives this month. The incentive is a gift card. It's coming from me and Miss Canelo. We already labeled some of the winners last time we were on here. And again, Miss Canelo, who won this class?
In this class, it was Kalani Tower. He clocked in at 15 hours and 42 minutes, which is 942 minutes of iReady.
In a month. So, and that being said, guys, I'm gonna be honest, right? Kalani's gonna get a gift card. He should be receiving it by next week, I believe, via email. It's a regular gift card that he can be utilized to buy anything he wants. But that's an incentive that we're doing on our behalf, me and Miss Canela. And then we're just looking for more engagement from you guys, right? I wrote down the people that participated today. I didn't see a lot of people chatting. I will record this chat and I will save the chat just for my purposes and grading. Right now, your independent practice and exit ticket is available. Please, by all means, I will stop talking and you should be working.
Mr.
You
R.
have more than 26 minutes, and then Miss Canella's gonna go into the breakout room with the following people. Miss Canella, don't say it out loud. Don't
I'm not.
just
Yep.
chat it, and then Dean Anthony's coming in.
Yep. I'm just gonna put in who's gonna go. Okay, Mr. R.
Yes. Yeah, you could chat it to me, and then I'll put you in there. But I don't have host. I have co-host.
I could do it. It's okay. This one.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Yep, I got it. I figured it out today.
Good morning, Dean Anthony.
Good morning, Dean Anthony.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hold on a minute. So I am taking these three, Mr. R, DF, KF, and NDLA.
Got it.
All right, and if Mr. Blough wants to come, he can come or he can stay. Mr. Blough, would you like to come in the breakout room or would you like to stay in the main room?
You can assign it to me and I'll go back and forth.
Okay. All right, you three, how we feeling? How we feeling about unit rate? Thumbs up if you're like, yeah, I don't know, I know what you're talking about, ma'am. Or thumbs down if you're like, I don't know anything of what we did today. All right, well then if that's the case, Kareem, you're like this, you're a little confused. Noelle, you're confused. Daniel, you confused? All right, so we're gonna review what you have to do. So I'm gonna have you read the question, each one of you. So Daniel, you're gonna read first. You're gonna tell me how you would solve this problem, and then any issues that you have, anything that you're stuck on, will guide you and help you fix your mistake, okay? So let's see what we got. So just to recap, right, we're gonna be working on the independent practice. Yes, I know I posted it at a weird hour. I posted it at 6:56 this morning. So that's what we're clicking on. We're gonna click on this pink, 11:10. All right, Daniel Flores, I want you to read number 1 and tell me how would you tackle this problem. Go ahead, Daniel. Are you able to unmute yourself? Okay, Daniel, question 1. It says a leaky faucet.
A leaky faucet is losing water and is filling a 5-gallon bucket every 20 hours. At the rate, how many gallons of water will the faucet leak in 48 hours? Hint, use the 3 steps to find solution unit rate.
So Daniel, how do we find the unit rate? How do we find the unit rate? What operation? Help him out. Well, Kyrene, help.
MSB.
That's the method. What operation is that? You're right. What operation is that?
Division.
Okay, so what are the 2 units we're comparing in step 1? Let's start there. I'm going to type it over here, step 1. Somebody, look at the question. I'm not doing it for you. I want you to help me.
5 as a gallon and every 20 hours.
So gallons and hours. Thank you. What's step 2 say? Step 1 is compare, guys, look at your notes. Step 1 is compare the units, the 2 units. Step 2 is what?
How many gallons were filled in 48 hours?
Okay, so that means that we are going to divide what? What are the 2 numbers we're going to divide?
48 and 20?
So let's look at this. We said 5 gallons for 20 hours. So we need to find the unit rate of how many gallons of water I can have in the hour, right? Since how many gallons of water will the faucet have in 1 hour? We first got to find that unit rate and then take that to figure out 48, right? Noelle, you're not wrong. So technically, we're going to be dividing what 2 numbers if you look at the first sentence?
5 and 20.
Okay, so we're going to do 20 hours and we're going to do 5 gallons, right? So first we got to find that unit rate, correct? Everyone following what we're doing? So step number 3, we're going to do the division. right? So step number 3 is the division using the method you just mentioned, which was DMSB. So you were right. We just needed a little clarification, and that's cool. I'm fine with that. So what number goes on the inside? So help me out. What number goes on the inside when I set this division problem up? What is the total number of hours?
20.
Good. Which means the number of items goes on the outside, which is what number?
5.
So what is 20 divided by 5 equal to?
20 divided by 5 is 4.
4. So what you just did here, this is 5 gallons. I'm going to show you a ratio. This is cool, right? 5 gallons for 20 hours. This is what you just figured out is equal to, check this out, guys. We said that in 1 hour, it does 4 gallons. Correct?
I get it, yeah.
So now, what are we going to do?
Now we're gonna divide.
Oh, wait, I wrote it wrong. Hold on, I wrote it wrong. What happened?
Now we're gonna multiply, I think.
I messed up. Hold on one second. I wasn't reading carefully. I wrote it down in my notebook. So it's actually supposed to be 1 gallon in 4 hours. Sorry, I wrote it wrong. So 1 gallon in 4 hours, and I want to know 48 hours. This is what I got. 1 gallon in 4 hours equals blank in 48 hours. How do I go from 4 to 48?
Well,
Multiply by what? You're right. You multiply by what?
multiply it by the gallon.
So how do I go from 4 to 48? What do I multiply by? 4 times what is 48? Look at your answer choices to help you.
Maybe it could be 4 times 18.
Let's see. 18. Let's see. What's 18 times 4?
18 times 4 is 64, I believe. Or
What's 8 times 4?
8 times.
If you're having trouble, what I like to think of is I like to count by 8s. What's 8 times 1?
32. 8 times 4
There
is
you go.
32, right?
And 4, yeah, that's right. 4 times 1 is what?
4 times 1 is 1. Well, 4.
4. 4 times 1 is 4, right? So 4 plus 3 is how much?
4 plus 3 is 7.
So 72, we want to get to 48. So does that make sense? No, right? It's too large, which means that we know 21 is going to be too large. So now you're left with either 4 times 12 is 48 or 4 times 15 is 48. Which one do you think it is?
It might be 12 because 72 is a really big number, so I don't think 15 is, well, I don't think 15 is low enough.
Okay, let's try. You say it might be 12. What's 2 times 4?
2 times 4 is 8.
And 4 times 1?
4 times 1 is 4.
So therefore, we have to multiply 12 times 4 to equal 48, which means whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom, right? So then this would give me 12 gallons in 48 hours. Now the question asks you, how many gallons of water will you need for 48 hours? So the gallons of water is how much?
12.
12. You see that? Yeah, I made a mistake. I meant to write it. I fixed it, but I made a mistake too, where no one's perfect. Does everyone see that it's 12? All right, let's do the next one. All right, the next one's pretty straightforward. The next two are pretty straightforward. All right, Kyrene, read number 2.
I was muted, my bad. Branson paid $6.40 for 40-ounce bottle of shampoo. What is the price per ounce?
So per ounce is what operation?
Division.
Good, divide. What am I gonna divide?
$6.40 by 40 ounces.
Good, by, I love how you said that, 40 ounces. So now we're gonna do the division. Help me out on your calculator. I'm gonna bring this decimal up. 40 does not go into 6, but 40 goes into 64. How much?
40 goes into 60?
4.
Oh, 40 doesn't go into 4.
It doesn't. So we put a 0. Now we moved on. We brought the decimal point up. 40 times what is 64 about?
40 times 1.
So then this gives me 20. I bring down the 0. Is that correct? Do you agree with me?
No.
You don't
Wait.
agree with me.
Wait, no, I don't think that's an option. That's not an option.
It is an option. Oh, I made a mistake. Yes, you're right. I messed it up because I didn't subtract right. You see, I'm not perfect either. You're right. Now this is a 4 and a 0. So 40 goes into 240 how many times?
Wait. Give me a second to think. About like 7 times.
What's 4 times 7?
4 times 7 is 28.
So it's too big, so we got to go 1 less, which would be 6. Therefore, you pick 16 cents per ounce. You understand that?
Yeah.
All right, let's do the next one. All right, last problem. This is going to be Daniel Flores. Marley divided 40.8 gallons of paint amongst 8 containers. How much paint is in each container? So tell me what we're going to do here. Help me out. Somebody help me.
We could divide.
Huh? Divide what?
We could divide 6.40 for a 40-ounce bottle of shampoo. Wait, I'm reading the word.
You got this?
I mean, 40.8 gallons of paint among 8 containers. So it's saying among 8 containers, so I think that we have to divide.
Good.
And it says how much paint is in each container, so that's how I could confirm that we have to divide.
Okay, so we know that 8 times 5 is 40, right? We know that, right? 0, and we're going to bring down the 8. We're going to bring up the decimal point. And how many times does 8 go into 8, Noel?
8 goes to 8 one time.
So therefore, the answer is 5.1 gallons. So real quick, because I need to send you guys back to the main room now so you can do your exit ticket, right? Number 1 was 12 gallons. Number 2 was 16 ounces. So 12, 16, and last but not least, we got 5.1 gallons. And then the class you're in is 603. And then on a scale of 1 to 3, how do you rate the class? 1 is the lowest, 3 is the highest, and 2 is I still need a little review. Once you have that, you pick, I'm gonna say this is, I would say you guys are about a 2 or a 3. I mean, your understanding is a 3, but you need more practice. I would hit submit. And now you guys are gonna leave room and you're gonna go to the main area. Got it? You all should receive a 15 out of 15. Are you gonna get, huh? Okay, if you have a 15 out of 15, you leave the breakout room. Let's go. Main, leave room.
Miss Canelo,
Yes.
we're not looking so good.
So what's the issue here?
Number 1.
All right, so I'll go over it with them. I'll let them redo it, okay, Mr. R?
You can't let them redo it. That means you have to delete all the scores. I'm not doing that.
All right, let me go over number 1. Number 1, because they had an issue here because it was a reading problem. All right, let me explain to you guys what we had to do here.
Whoa.
Well, don't even worry about the 12. You don't even know if that's right or not, guys. Just look. Forget about the answer. Just look at how you do the problem. Look. Joelle, read this problem, number 1.
I can't. They're playing around and it's too loud.
All right. A leaky faucet is losing water and filling 5-gallon buckets every 20 hours. At this rate, how many gallons of water will they need in 48 hours? So right off the bat, I know I'm comparing gallons to hours, right? There's 5 gallons for every 20 hours. So I'm going to write hours over gallons. I'm going to do that first. I'm now going to substitute the first number. In 20 hours, it says it fills 5 gallons, right? 20 hours, gallons. Now, I want to divide 20 by 5, and I'm going to get 4. So 1 gallon in 4 hours. That is my unit rate. Does everyone see that? You have to be able to apply unit rate and think. This is the hardest question on the quiz, on the paper. It's going to be challenging. So now that I know that the unit rate is for 1 gallon for 4 hours, and I'm going to even show you if this is gallon. I'm going to show you on a table. I didn't show this in the breakout room. Watch this, right? 1 gallon in 4 hours. 2 gallons is 8 hours. We're doubling it. 3 gallons is 12 hours, correct? 4 gallons is 16 hours, and 5 gallons is 20 hours. Does everyone see that?
Keep going, Ms. Camelo. Keep going. Keep going.
All right, sorry, I didn't know. Now that I know that this is my unit rate, this is the unit rate, I'm going to now figure out in 48 hours how much water I need. So if I know it's 1 gallon, this is what we did in the breakout room, in 4 hours, right? In 48 hours, how many gallons of water do I need? Well, Noel was really clever. He said, let me use the answer choices. And we went through, he started with 21, I think he started with 18 and realized it was too big. Because 18 times 4 was 72. So we crossed that out and he knew that 21 was too big. So then he was left with 12 and 15. So 4 times what is 48, guys? Noel, help us out.
4 times.
What number goes here? You just said it in the breakout room. Is it 12 or 15?
Go, Nia.
It's 12.
12. So if I multiply the bottom by 12, I multiply the top by 12. What I do to one, I do to the other. So if I multiply here by 12, I multiply the top by 12, and I get 12. So this is saying 12 gallons of water in 48 hours. Does everyone see that? That is why you pick 12 gallons of water, and probably a lot of them, I don't know what they picked, but I'm assuming
15, 18, 21, everywhere.
Guys, the thing is here, you had to find the unit rate. Okay, this was all about finding the unit rate. Does everyone see what I did there?
Joel, if you're talking to us, sir, I didn't hear a word you said. You're muted. I understand your frustration, but we definitely went over this in class, right? The last little bit of class, that's what we went over.
We went
There's
over,
a reason for that.
we went over finding the unit rate. You're not gonna always have everything we do in class. There has to be a challenge question, a rigorous question. And this was your rigorous question. Because you had
And I'm gonna be honest, I'm actually glad that you guys got this one wrong. And I'm gonna tell you why. Guys, no one's perfect, right? So the fact that you got this wrong shows me and Miss Canella, like, hey, maybe we should be challenging you guys a little bit more. Because not for nothing,